This E3 update is presented by State Farm.
All right, I'm at the Shrine Auditorium here in Los Angeles. EA has just wrapped up their press conference, and look, to be fair, they have a much easier job at an E3 like this than, say, Microsoft or Sony, who have to both position games and deal with exciting people about buying a new piece of hardware. For Electronic Arts, they just have to show games. I did find it very interesting that they really only focused on next-gen games. They are going to be putting out current-gen iterations at the very least of their sports titles, and of course we're going to get that as well for Battlefield. I'm not 100% on Titanfall. I hope to find that out within the next couple of days. So with this idea that they're just looking at next-gen, I think they did a better job creating excitement around it than Microsoft did. One of the things that has troubled EA in past years is having so many games and not really understanding how to get the focus on them to stimulate sales and get people excited around it. What we're seeing here is a handful of games spread out not just for this year, but well into 2014. And then there's Battlefront, which I doubt is even coming out next year. Don't get your hopes up too much. That game is very, very early in development. But with that kind of focus, they seem to be able to understand how to nurture the game and get people looking at it. And I have to say, the demo of Battlefield 4, looking at that multiplayer, was exactly what I want to see more of at this E3. It's a confident demonstration of what the game can do, how the game is distinct, and I'm going to assume what it's able to do on next-gen hardware that's quite impressive. I would have to say, jumping out of a very tall building, parachuting down, that was one of those perfect, I get it moments. I think it's a very strong position. Titanfall, which had more of a demo at the Microsoft press conference, but is an EA game, is the one that's still standing out as saying, hey, we're new, we're different, we're fresh, we're a new IP, and there's something to get excited about that starts to define next-gen. And as a result, I would say EA is kind of out in front. Now, having said that, things were not perfect for EA. The sports sequence, we are seeing way too many trailers without actually seeing the game. I think getting a look at the actual MMA game would have been another one of those nice touches of where we can see development going, how technology is assisting. We hear a lot about that Ignite engine, but we're not seeing much about that Ignite engine. And I'm getting tired of this idea that showing actual in-game footage is somehow showing gameplay. Those are two things that are very different. I assume all of this stuff is in-engine, but it's the gameplay that myself and I think you guys out there want to be taking a look at. They did show Mirror's Edge 2. This is an interesting one because Mirror's Edge is loved by myself and a lot of core gamers. It was a great idea that wasn't perfectly executed. It did not sell very well. EA didn't know what to do with it. It had a female lead. So I think this will be one of the most interesting tests and challenges for EA. If they can get a game that deserves a wide audience to that wide audience, they might be able to overcome a lot of those humps. I think my final word is, what we do know from Microsoft's announcement last week with regard to used games, they kind of pushed that responsibility onto the publishers, EA being one of those publishers. It is worth noting that this could have been a moment to be magnanimous and explain what their strategy is going to be with used games going forward. And yes, we heard nothing.
Having insurance is not the same as having State Farm. With agents available 24/7, 365, they get you to a better state. Visit statefarm.com to learn more.
All right, you guys can also check out some reactions to the EA press conference from Max and Tara. I also have posted up my reactions to the Microsoft press conference, so if you haven't seen that, go check that out. Ubisoft and Sony are still yet to come, and we're going to be having reactions from those. And I'm going to try to give a wrap-up of what I saw from the entire day and what it might say not just about this E3, but, well, the next 10 years of video games.